Alright, hello guys. I'm bringing you a video on the Netrunner fundamentals. I'm really impressed because I haven't played this game in a while and the frames are really good now. So I feel like maybe they did a hotfix or something to make it really optimized even more so than it was before. So before I start, I'll just show you kind of like my general strategy for this specific character, because what I was kind of aiming for was someone who reminds me of Homelander. Uh, somebody who's just really destructive to crowds. So everybody around me just died really quick. I had fought even stronger opponents earlier, but I guess I'll go into this character specifically and what I was thinking with this character, and then I'll try to show off all of my other Netrunner builds, that at least if I can find them, so that you really get a good idea of how to make a Netrunner build. So the first step to every build that you need to know is, when you're playing this game, your top priority should always be the NCPD scanner missions. Doing those before anything else. If you're starting a brand new V from the very beginning, I also have to preface this by saying you can't make a level 30 V or level whatever, the skip the story V, because if you do that, it takes away all the scanner missions. So you can't use them to level, and you can actually reach a higher level if you do them than if they're gone. So don't ever skip straight to Phantom Liberty, because it's a terrible, terrible idea in the terms of progression. I might still have some. So the missions I'm talking about are going to be these little blue scanner missions, but I think I completed them all on this file. I haven't done the psychos. I think we'll go to one of the psychos just to sort of kind of give you an idea of the output of this character in terms of damage a little better. Just so that you can kind of get a good feel for how this character will perform in boss battles. Rybakov gave me some trouble because he has some gimmicks that make him a lot more difficult to fully kill, and you're also probably going to have problems with Oda for the same reason, because he has gimmicks. And this character's way more effective at crowd control. But I'll give you an example. So all you got to do is look at somebody, and then you just got to wait for the black wall to finish. So because it takes forever, you're going to want to be focused really highly on movement and getting away. But you can see how good it is. Now, I also want to preface this by saying that the old deck I was using was the Biotech MK4. The reason I think the Biotech is good is because it gives you 60% duration on your quick hacks. Absolutely phenomenal. So if you put overheat on somebody 3 times, That's 3 times 60%. So that's like, since it's 60% duration 3 times, it's never going to run out. So you can get a boss all the way down to like 30% off of 3 fires. Then you've got additionally 10% DOT. Now you can also use this with the mono wire, but I actually don't really care too much for the mono wire. But I'll show you another build that uses the mono wire in a minute. As for the when you're doing a Netrunner, you're most likely gonna want to side with. You're gonna probably most likely want to side with Selmy instead of against. You have to side against Selmy to get the Kanto. So if you want the Kanto and you want to use the Black Wall, then you have to be against Selmy. But if you don't want to play with the Black Wall, or you don't mind not getting the Black Wall, the Biotech is the best in the business. This is the literal best cyber deck in the game, in my humble opinion. And then what hacks you would want to run for it, if I was going to be using this over the Kanto, would be you would want to be running the meta. So the meta quick hacks is cripple and overheat, but then the other meta quick hack combo is cyber malfunction into short circuit. Now the reason why I say this is because it says 25% damage for each stack of cyber malfunction. So you hit cyber 3 times into short circuit, it'll one-shot everything in the game, which is why it's meta. So if you don't want to use the Black Wall, and again, like I also have other stuff going on that I'll show you in a second, but essentially you're either using the Black Wall or using that combo or using cripple overheat 3. All 3 of those things with the biotech are gonna, besides the Black Wall because you can't do that, but if you're using that combination of the cyberware, if you're doing cyber into that, watch what happens to him even with the Kanto. And then bam, look, he's already at 67%. Now with the Black Wall on him, what's he gonna do, man? Oh shit, he killed me. Whoops. I totally fucked up. It did 4,680. Even though I died, you saw that number. It did 4,680. So, you know, Kanto's pretty good, but I'll actually do the fight again, because that was a little bit bullshit. I'm not sure how he managed to kill me like that. Fucking auto-aim. So I'll do it one more time, because I'm really trying to show off the damage before we start breaking down what I believe to be the best fundamentals for a Netrunner build. Alright, here we go again. So I'm gonna hit him with these 3, and then while we don't want him to be seeing me. And we're gonna hit him with the Black Wall. We don't want him seeing me. Look, now he's at 46. Now he's at 27. Look at how quickly this guy is getting killed. I don't want to get close because he's just really fucking aggravating. Oh shit. The only sad part about the Kanto is it takes forever to get my cells back. So I'm just having to sit here and wait forever. Ideally, that's why I also recommend the other deck, because it has way more battery. But being able to turn your health into battery is how you get around that. If I'm hitting this guy with 3 Blackwall, he's not going to survive this combo. And he's done. 8,100 damage to this guy. With 3 Blackwall, oh my god, dude. That's an easy boss killer right there. Now, normally what I do as a backup is I'm punching, but I don't really want to get up close to this guy because he has a one-shot gun. I mean, you saw what he did to me. But anyway, now let's read into the full setup. So first I'll go with the cyberware. I think that X disk is the best because it gives you upload speed and more RAM. Then you're going to want to stack quick hack damage. That's a good roll. Next, we're going bioconductor because it's giving you crit chance on your quick hacks. Then you want and keep in mind we want the thing that gives us these at the bottom. You see this? It says 3.4 more quick hack damage, and then on top of that, 4.5 bonus against anyone at full health. So you hit some asshole with 3 Blackwall at full health, they're gonna get a crazy amount of damage from that. Then finally, I like Axolotl because it gives cooldown, 7% cooldown instantly for all cyberware after you neutralize somebody. So that's why this is much better for crowd control, because you're gonna get the cooldown, which is gonna help you do it more. So all your cyberware is going to be resetting. So this is going to help you get your ult back, which lets you then keep using your health as quick hack battery. So this is a battery refresh, so you can keep hacking. I went with the gorilla arms for this build because the purpose of this build, as I said, I was using the biotech. The purpose of this was to be Homelander, so I wanted to be able to laser people with my eyes like Homelander can, and then I really wanted to emulate his strength, how strong he is. So the gorilla arms were my only weapon. As you can see, I have nothing equipped. Also, I don't need to be wearing this anymore. So I have nothing equipped. Except the gorilla arms. This also helps you get past a bunch of checks because it gives you're gonna have the 20 strength, so you're gonna be really intimidating. You can get past some of the skill checks with that, and then you're always gonna be able to open doors just with brute strength alone. For defense, Rah V is the best. It's putting us really high. Then I went with Universal Booster, and it's giving me way more. Also, it's boosting my melee, but I don't think Gorilla Arms benefit from melee. Unfortunately, I don't think that's a thing. I think they changed that, but I'm not quite sure, so you'd have to ask the Reddit for that one. Also, my rolls, as you can see, I got Explosion and Thermal, which helps me do, my quick hack Overheat. So I'm getting extra 3.9 on Overheat. This one says damage over time, and then crit chance against enemies burning. So that's helpful. That came in really handy when I was using Overheat with the other deck. So the old strat was either to hit 3 cyber and then into short circuit, or the other strat was cripple movement into 3 fire. Either of those are going to pretty much deal with anything you could come across. And you don't even have to get anywhere close to them, and you can run away, be a coward, and they're gonna die, and you're not even gonna be anywhere near them, and they're gonna die anyway. So you don't need to be any bit accurate at all. No more caring about how many bullets you have. No more doing whatever it is that you do. It's really stress-free. You just have to run and hack, and run and hack. If you get the chance to close in on somebody, you're going to want to cripple them first and then just punch away so that you can build up the super punch, and then you can super punch like big targets. Super punch is actually pretty good against bosses, but again, you're mainly going to be wanting to hack if at all possible. Where the gorilla arms fall short is in cases where they're just too overwhelmingly shooting you all the time, and so main thing you want to get used to is running away and not really getting into melee scenarios. I know that was the point, but if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, the gorilla arms are kind of going to be a disappointment. You may end up getting yourself killed just because a bunch of people are shooting you, and I can't slow time down. I feel like the gorilla arms would be much better with the Sandy, because then people aren't shooting me as much because I'm way too fast. But I still kind of like the Homelander build, even though the gorilla arms kind of aren't the best. Alright, on to Reflex Tuner. Reflex Tuner is helpful for slowing down time, so I can still technically get the Sandy effects with Synaptic and Reflex, so I tend to do that. And then I really wanted the movement speed, because that helps me get close to people to do the gorilla arms at all. I feel like the 30% is really helpful if you're gonna replicate this build. It also gives me another 3% damage against enemies, but this time below half health. So my first opening is that full health, as you can see here. Enemies that have full health, 4.5. And then when they get down to half, I get another 3% while they're at half. So that's pretty good. I got another 5.5 dot. The other two don't matter that much. I do throw grenades occasionally, so the 3.8 explosion is helpful. Over here, you can see the 2.7 dot, so I'm stacking dot. I like the health items too, because the health items giving me battery. Electrical damage is pretty good for short circuit. So you want to be thinking about having rolls that are going to help you make your hacks better. 4.4 dot, so I have even more dot. 3.9 crit chance against enemies with burn, so that's helpful. Another more dot and more crit chance against burn. I have more damage over time, again. If I'm stealthy, I have 7.8 bonus damage to everything across the board if you don't know where I am. And then decrease enemy vision, so they're not seeing me as much. Another 2.7 for quick hack damage. And then it's giving me my grenade back faster. Aim speed is useless. That kind of I wish wasn't on there, but it is what it is. Can't get perfect rolls. This isn't really too helpful other than the regen. It's giving me health though. Health regen is kind of helpful. Again, for battery purposes. Quick hack damage. And then dot. So even more quick hack damage and even more dot. Really good to keep getting that over and over. This is giving me melee damage. I don't know for sure if Gorilla is benefiting from melee, but if it is, then that's helpful. So you're gonna probably want to stack that. My freaking remote died. 1 second here. Alright. More quick hack damage, more electric, more health regen, so this is a really good roll. More thermal, so that's for overheat. This doesn't help me that much. except a little bit for all damage dealt. This is this. I would actually prefer to have Cockatrice if I could, but I can't afford it, so we went with Sentry. Sentry's great because it's giving me even more dot and even more electric. And then the two best decks in the game, either Kanto or Biotech. So you're going to really want to focus on getting either of those. Alright, on to your character. Now, I'm always going to run pretty much the same thing every single time when I'm talking about a Netrunner. So a Netrunner is always going to want all of this. Now, what I didn't pick up was the trace progress. Not really a big deal. I don't care about lowering my trace. If I'm breaking stealth, it's not that detrimental to the build. I don't really feel like I need to stealth. If you want to be a stealthy Netrunner, I honestly still don't recommend this because of where you're spending your points. Monowire, this is the one for the monowire. It recovers RAM. I didn't take this because I'm not using the monowire. And I still don't think recovering 0.5 RAM is really justifiable either. So you don't need that. You can put the explosion damage from hacked devices. So you can get 80% more explosion damage, which would probably improve your fire grenade if you hit somebody with a quick hack and then hit them with a fire grenade. This might be helpful, but again, I spent it on other stuff, so I did not get this. As for this one, it reduces the sequence length, but I don't really think I need that either because it's just not helpful to the build. And then lastly, I did not get the monowire finisher because I don't have the monowire for this build. And even if I did have the monowire, I still don't care about the finisher. You can get the finisher if you really think, oh yeah, I'm going to be using the monowire, and oh yeah, I definitely want, when they get low, to be able to kill them like this. But again, you're really going to want to get all your points into all the stuff I already have highlighted. You can be as brainless as possible, not read anything, copy this exact tree, and you're gonna have an easy fucking time with Netrunner. If you do exactly this setup, it's gonna be easy. You just trust me on this. This is the meta. Now, if you're using smart guns, then you can come into here, and I'll show you a different build that is using smart guns. But for now, this is the meta. This is the meta for intelligence. Alright, now on to tech. So tech, you're really gonna need this specific stuff is gonna help you a lot. I unfortunately couldn't pick up the health here. I couldn't pick up the instant recharge for health. This field medic is great. Anything that's boosting your health is a really good idea. So first aid, transfusion, field medic, and borrowed time are all really good. Unfortunately, I didn't get any of those because I don't have enough points. And I feel like even without them, I'm still doing alright. I'm getting ticking and edge runner. Edge runner, it's hit or miss. Like, I honestly don't get this often, but it's still helpful to have it because 10% extra damage, 30% extra crit chance, 50% crit damage, all of that is being applied to my hacks because of what I have in cyberware. So when I have this on, like, this is making my black wall, my black wall would be able to one-shot fucking Atom Smasher with this if it went off. If this turned on during the Smasher fight, like, he's pretty much toast. All this stuff allowed me to use the cellular adapter. Cyberware effects is great. So trust me on all of this. You're gonna need to have this specific, some variation of this. Go ahead and read everything that I do have highlighted on your screen. So when you're following the build, everything that's in yellow, you want to give that a read so you can see why I picked it. But I'm not going to really get too into the nitty gritty right now because I have 3 other setups to show off. Body, you're going to want all of that. All of this whole tree in the middle is going to be giving you a lot of health. It's going to help with survivability, and it's going to give you more battery. And then I went with this stuff specifically because I'm using gorilla arms. If you weren't using this, I would put all of this, instead of doing the gorilla arms, I'd put all of this into technical and pick up literally this entire tree. I think there's only like 1 in here that I probably wouldn't get, but I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head. But if I was not gonna be doing the Homelander setup where I went with gorilla arms because I was trying to replicate Homelander, then I would have it all in the grenades, because the fire grenade's really helpful for Dot. Then I just came up here to get the movement. That's about it. Didn't really invest too much in anything else. And that's what you need for skills. And then as for relic, I got the gorilla arm super punch, and I went with weak spots. I didn't get any of the other stuff because it's exclusive to that stuff, which I'm not using. So you don't need the extra points here. Now onto your inventory. You should have the item that... Oh, it's not on. I don't know why it's not on. So, yeah, here we go. This is supposed to be equipped. So some of them are giving you a certain thing. Thought the headset gave you something, but I guess now it's not doing that. Not sure why. And then you're gonna want I think it's just this, yeah. So I was running this so that I could get the next 10% upload time and then 15% upload time. So those are also helpful because it's making it so that I can use my upload a lot more. That was probably why I was struggling earlier, because I didn't have the 20% upload time. So with that on, you'll notice that when I come over to this group of people and I hit the black wall, it'll go a lot faster on there. It's still slow as fuck. But once it's on somebody, now it's a disease that everybody catches, the instant kill disease. I really like the Kanto setup, and as I said, you got to be thinking like Homelander. Like, he would fly up to the building, laser everybody, and everybody's dead now, so nobody's challenging you. The other cool thing about the Kanto is that I feel like it comes back way faster than the Biotech did. I won't be demoing the Biotech right now unless I find it on a different class. Alright, on to trying to find my next corpo that I can demo the build for. I know I have a couple more. All of them are corpos. One moment. I have a lot of saves. Alright, let's try birds with broken wings. Let's see if this is my pistol corpo. The pistol corpo is also pretty cool. So I'm hoping this is it. Nope, this is the same file I've been working on. This was the Homelander build. Alright, let's start from the beginning and try to figure it out. We have my Street Kid. Oh yeah, I remember I saved at Space Oddity. I think this one's my monowire setup. Oh yeah, you know my name. I think you know my name is my Alright, let's do You Know My Name really quick so that I can show this. So You Know My Name is a different setup. I went with smart weapons because I thought that having Skippy, lethal Skippy, be very fucking careful with lethal Skippy, by the way, because you need to choose the one that says passive first. I think you have to choose passive first. And then when you do that, it'll switch to lethal for good. Right? Oh, this is Genjiro. So this is probably the one where I fucked it up. Genjiro is also pretty good. Alright, let's take a look at what we're doing here. So I'm probably using biotech. I would wager that I'm using biotech. Look at that damage. All those guys perished. And really easy to get that going off. Let's go to pick on some other people. I'm not sure if we got to Dogtown. Oh yeah, we got to Dogtown already. Alright, so for this one, it seems that I'm running Cybersomatic. And yep, biotech. So I'm using biotech here. Pretty obvious. I'm running cockatrice. Now the reason why I love these is because it really slows down time. It's essentially the same thing as having the Sandy without actually having it equipped. And then it's increasing my crit, which is nuts. I love this thing. This thing is awesome. And you can see my rolls as quick damage and DOT. We have the regen on the RAM, the thermal damage here. We got quick damage, crit chance. I like the rolls so far. Regen from defeating a bleeding enemy. That's pretty fucked. I'm glad I got this one. Damage over time again. Damage over time. I also resist dot, but that's not really a big deal. Quick damage. Quick damage. Damage over time. Crit chance against burn. This one's a near god roll. This is like fucking ideal. For sure. Love that shit. Less defense though, but it's justified because I can shoot you while you're getting hacked, which is really unfair. Dot. I really like damage Skippy, by the way. I think the intention was to have that, but I think this file specifically I fucked it up. I know I have another file with damage Skippy, but it might be on my PC. I don't think it's on my console. But yeah, I goddamn love damage Skippy. I did Netrunner Skippy on purpose. It was a really fun setup. I think even if you do still have him on lethal, though, eventually, even if you do it the correct way, I think you still only have a cap of a certain amount of kills before you can't even use Skippy at all. I think Skippy, no matter what you do, eventually just stops cooperating. Or something. I'm not sure. I think he starts yelling at you. I don't remember. But eventually you're gonna need Genjiro to take over. Either way. I'm not 100% on that, though. I don't know if he stays on lethal forever. But that's another story for another day. RAM regen, dot. Thermal damage, dot. Dot. Explosion. So you see what I'm doing there? How I have all that dot? It's fucking nuts. Melee, dot. Don't actually need the melee. Melee, don't need it. This one's not a good roll at all, I don't think. Yeah, I don't really like any of those. This isn't really that big a deal either. Quick and dot. Health regen's good. Health items good. Grenade's good. Stealth damage, alright, but not really a big deal. Quick dot. So we have quick and dot still. So you see how many times I've stacked quick and dot? Like, that's what you want to do. Quick damage and dot is like the way to go. Because that's what the quick hacks are doing A lot of the highest damage quick hacks rely on dot and quick damage, so you're gonna want both of those. That's why I'm telling you to do it. Explosion, reload speed, yeah, that's alright. Grenade recharge speed, yes, because we like to use the grenades. Again, dot, ram regen, quick damage. This is a really good roll. You definitely like this roll a lot. As for the hacks that we're using for the biotech, I'm glad that I could show this off. So this is the pattern I chose. So the slots, you really want to see where it is when you start trying to quick hack somebody, and then put the quick hacks wherever you think is the most convenient for the way that the menu is set up. So I have short here, overheat here, cyber, of course, reboot optics. I think that was because it had an interaction with short, but I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. There was a third combo. Sonic Shock. Quick hacks against the affected enemy. Still initiate trace progress, but do not increase it. Deafens the enemy. Scrambles the comms. Cloaks the enemy. Uploading Sonic Shock to memory wipe and reboot optics will cause them to get knocked out. So that's the third combo. So I'm probably using memory wipe. Or not. So actually I don't even feel like I need reboot if I don't have memory wipe. But that's a third thing you can do. I usually I have system collapse on. I don't know why that's there. And do I have Sonic Shock though? Yeah, of course. So Sonic Shock. Oh, wait a minute. Sonic Shock is the one that's the wrong one? Where's the one? Oh, Short Circuit. I'm so stupid. So Sonic Shock is probably the one that I don't need. Because I only have Reboot and Sonic. I don't have Memory Wipe. So those are probably unnecessary. But the main point that I'm trying to point out is that you want to do cyber malfunction into short circuit because that's your big ticket item. If you don't have the black wall, this is going to be your next best thing. And then overheat. Both of those are going to be your babies. These are going to be the babies. Now you might be wondering why I didn't take every iconic. Sometimes if you take the lower tier ones, they actually cost you less. So you can use them more often. And since I only really need one or the other of these two, because these are the highest in the game, there's really no point in doing the other iconics because look how much... I'm pretty sure they cost more, but I might be retarded. Oh, yeah, maybe I am stupid. Hold on a second. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I couldn't tell you what's the difference between iconic. It looks the same to me, but that's besides the point. Anyway, and then the last thing I had to complement the build was the rockets. If you're not dead after I'm doing all my hacks on you, then the next best bet I have is to just hit you with the grenades. So now we'll do a quick combat one, and then we'll go on to the monowire build. But anyway, just watch what happens to this guy's health really quick. This is just a regular guy, but you hit him with cripple, hit him with 3 of these, watch his health go away. People do not like this combination. You see, I didn't even get back up before that guy perished. And then on top of that, I'm doing an insane amount of damage just because I have the ult. You see how much damage it does? Look at that. Look at the damage. Isn't it unbelievable? They're really good at killing me. I don't know why. I don't know why I can never get the fucking max tack on the Genjiro. But just did you see that? Like I wiped out a bunch of dudes, just no problem at all, without even breaking a sweat. All right, now we're gonna test it really quick on a Cyber Psycho, so you can get a good idea of what it does to a boss. Looks like we can try this guy over here, and then I'll just run up to Jig Street really quick. No. No. Alright, there's this other trick that nobody does that I only do exclusively, and it's the dodge button into jump. That lets you go really fast. So you want to learn how to do that. Really easy. Alright, he's over here. And then we'll do the last setup with the mono wire. And then I'll show you what the skills are for this guy. But let me just say, you don't even really need a weapon when you're running Netrunner. I really don't feel like you ever need one. The only times I really felt pressed were when I was like overwhelmed during the dog. There's a Dogtown section where they just keep throwing enemies at you, and you have to wait the cooldown. So because you have to wait the cooldown and there's no cover, like you basically die. It's really difficult. But I mean, anything that allows you to have enough places to go, then you don't have any issues. All right, here we go. So we're gonna be hitting this guy with cripple, and then we're gonna hit him with 3 of these. And then we're going to hit him with short circuit. And then more of those. And he's dead, just like that. Kabam. Easy peasy. He stood no fucking chance. He went down better than the last guy. Oh my gosh. But so the other thing I was gonna mention is if you side with Somi, you can get I think it's something up here. It lets you get your cooldown back. So you can just keep using your quick hack mode over and over. But this character doesn't have that. Alright, on to the setup. So, as I said, this is what it looks like when you throw in the gun. After performing a takedown, actually, this is refundable. Increase projectile and lock-on range for 10. Ooh, yep. So I would actually do that, maybe. Target lock-on, an enemy is about to end. Shooting them resets it. Oh, shitter. So they never stop locking on. I would say that's better. Again, don't really want this. Actually, would again argue you don't need this either. Maybe multiple target locks, that might help you. That's how I would improve it. And I think we accidentally got the mono wire finisher without needing that either, so you can actually get all 4 of those. So this is corrected. I had to on the fly correct that. But this is what it should look like. This is the more correct version. So keep that in mind, that it should look kind of like this if you're going to use smart weapons. So take it in, breathe it in, see the setup, and then we're done. All right, and then on to tech. Oh, right. I also wanted to incorporate lightning, so I got the lightning stuff going. I haven't really tested that, but I'm very confident that is also a pretty fun thing to do. Oh, right. Yeah, I totally forgot about this fucking gun. This fucking gun is stupid. Alright, let me quickly just show you what I totally forgot about. So I got all this going on this Lexington, and it was really performing well. So you gotta try this out if you get the chance. Yep, here's Skippy. Not using it anymore though. I'm pretty sure this file had Skippy get locked into non-lethal. So, sad but true. Sad but true. That's why you have Genjiro. I also have Laika. Laika is pretty good. I would probably want to... I feel like I would be wanting to use a lightning gun, but I guess I don't have that, so I'm not sure why I'm spec'd into lightning on this character. So you might actually be better off going into coming up here instead, since I'm not using the lightning, but not really a big deal. You as I said, you're only going to want this if you're using lightning, and I don't seem to have anything like that. As for body, I only got this. That's interesting. Oh, right, because I didn't spec the points properly because I came into cool so I could get the pistols. Aha, yep, alright, so that makes perfect sense. So, yep, I do agree with that. That does make sense. So actually, if I was going to pull out of here, I would be getting the other two over here to get even more durability / health. That would probably be a good investment. So that is all the trees. The body, I just had some good health stuff. Probably want more of that. If you're not using lightning, you should come in and get the health stuff in here. So if I was going to change this right now, I would take away all this, and I would get this, I would get this, I would get this, I would get whatever I need to get this, and then I would also get this, and bam, now I have a bunch more health. So that's how I would change the build if I'm not using lightning at all. So that seems like a good idea. Alright, so, and then all this stuff, I'm probably using cellular adapter. Am I? Yep, I'm using it. So that is good. What else? Yep, cellular adapter effects. Yep, I always do that. Unlocks the new hands. Yes, so I wanted micro generator so I could get the lightning on there. So that's probably why I was running the lightning. I theorized that if I was... Oh, yeah, that makes sense, actually. So if I'm running micro generator, this might actually be the way to play. Huh, that's odd. I had all that before. Whatever the case, the main thing I was trying to say is that it's possible that this lightning stuff is going to play into you having micro generator, which adds lightning to your shot. So that does make a lot of sense. I don't know for sure if that actually works, though. Somebody would have to tell me if that works, because I couldn't tell you, but I feel like it does, because that guy died really quick with the setup I was already running. But yeah, in general, the main point is you're going to want to intel into tech, because cyberware and Intel are going to be the way that you do the best net running abilities. And again, I'm using RAM. I'm still using Xdisk, so that didn't change. I'm using Cybersomatic Optimizer, which is better, which is the iconic version of the one I was using on the other build. All right, so now we're gonna load the final setup that I think I have. Where's the one with the monowire? Here we go. This one's the one with the monowire. Not sure about this one. So the monowire. The monowire setup, I tried to make that work, so let's see how I did. Alright, so for this guy, again I have tech, again I'm using the same stuff here, relatively. I'm getting over to here to get the 3 modifiers. I'm using cellular adapter, reduce cooldown, Netrunner, time bomb, bombs, health. Pretty typical stuff for me. We got reflexes. Oh, I'm expecting the swords. That is interesting. I wonder why I'm doing that. Because I'm using swords. Oh, because this was my blade. This was my net blade build that I then adapted to the monowire. And I don't have a nervous system. That is weird. Definitely wondering what's going on here. Why is that? Oh, because I'm using Cockatrice and Cyber and RAM reallocator and Xdisk. Dot. Quick and crit. Bleeding. Dot. So running similar stuff here. Bonus against health. Dot. Quick. Dot. I'm not getting quick and dot, so that's kind of annoying. I must have spent way less time optimizing. Quick and crit chance, yep, perfect. Quick and dot, yep. Health, grenade, yep. Quick health regen from defeating a blue, that's pretty great. Headshot multiplier, I don't think that's helpful at all for monowire. Quick and bonus damage against full health. Quick and dot. Biotech. So yeah, pretty typical. And then I'm using the thermal monowire. Alright. So let's test this out. I haven't played this file in forever. Let's quickly take a quick glance at the setup. We got body up to here. Yep, that's perfect. We have tech like that. That's my tech tree. Intel. This time we do have the monowire because we're using it. That makes sense. And then we have monowire again. We didn't buy this again because I don't care. And then reflex for swords. I honestly think that you could potentially repurpose that to something else, but we will leave it since that it started out as a tech blade build, so makes sense to have that be on there just because it was a tech blade build. Alright, so now we're gonna go to find somebody to mess with, hopefully here, and test out the damage after all this time of not playing this file. Alright, we got a psycho here, and we're right by the fast travel. That's so convenient. Love this game. Alright, let's go test it out on that guy and see how it works out. So I'm pretty sure that I put cripple. I put cripple on the monowire. Oh, we only have 5 minutes left. All right, let's wrap this up nice and good for you to see the Netrunner basics. All right, so I know that I have the cripple. Right? Do I have cripple on there? Huh, I must not have cripple on there. 1 second, gotta fix that. I do have cripple. Why is it not crippling them? That's weird. Yeah, see how broken that is? And now I can do this. And now I can do this. And then she's still crippled. And then she's still crippled. And then she's still crippled. And then she is still crippled. And then still crippled. And she's dead, just like that. Very easy stuff. Pretty hilarious. So now I really understand why they used the fucking monowire. Pretty fun. Pretty fun stuff after all these updates of not playing this file. Very good stuff. Alright. Perfect. But yeah, so that is the setup for that. So, and then also we are running the close that give you the enemy quick hack upload and quick hack upload. So you're getting 25% there. So don't forget about that. And yeah, again, I'm using biotech. So you'll see me using biotech every single time on every single Netrunner builds. I really do very much like the cockatrice eyes. So this is not a terrible decision to make. I probably would try to find a way to optimize so that I could get all my slots filled, but because you get another 6 more modifiers that way, but this is a pretty good build even without that. So yeah, I hope this makes sense. How do I accomplish getting... So, oh yeah, I also need to explain this. So you get 3 20s. So you get to pick 3 categories to put 20 into. I personally think that the best idea would probably be Intel, Tech, and Body. And the reason why I think that is because, again, you're going to get way more battery that way, and you're going to get way more health. So a lot of my Netrunners probably would be going 20-20-20 in Tech, Intel, and Body. The only reason I went into reflexes is because I started out on this doing a Netblade build, and you can't change it because you can see that I don't have my respec at the bottom. So be very careful with your respec. Do not use your respec until you hit level 60. And the most important thing about leveling is that you need to do all of your NCPD scanner missions. You see how oh yeah, these. Do every single one of these until they're all gone. All of them. That's how to level up. You can start doing them right after you start the game, but it only lets you go up to around 20 before you have to do the main heist. If you've never played the game before, you'll know what the main heist is because something really major happens. And then when you get back to the city after the heist... After you come back to the city after the heist, you'll know what I'm talking about. Then you have full access to the entire city instead of just the starter area. And when you do that, do all the scanner missions until they're all gone. And watch what happens to your levels. So good luck, have fun, enjoy being a Netrunner, and until next time.